Well, good morning, everyone. Thomas Montgomery here. We get together most weekday mornings at 8 o'clock Central to talk about strategies, tips, techniques, share success stories, and support each of you. I think the common bond that brings us all together is that we're looking to do two things. We're looking to help small business owners improve financial literacy and their access to capital. And secondly, you want to make money. You want to earn money by helping other people. And that's what entrepreneurs do, right? Entrepreneurs identify problems, they solve problems, and they make money. Each of you, I think most of you, are branch offices. In other words, you've enrolled in what we call the Opportunity Fund, and we're providing you the training, the tools, the resources to be able to earn income by helping others. Our startup program has been our bread and butter, and I think it will continue to be. But today we're going to take one more step in rolling out what we call affectionately the no upfront cost campaign. I was just speaking to one of our newer branches this morning, and he's in New York City. And he's finding that it's a little bit slow for him to generate the trust with his prospective clients. And when there's not trust there, then the clients don't want to pay. So this offering that we're talking about today, the no upfront cost offering, is different. It's different than the startup program, but it's valuable, and I want to make sure that you understand how it works. So this page that we see here in the background is an example of the landing pages that are live now. And if you want to go to funding proposal online, that's how you'll get to our main landing page. So fundingproposal.online. We will provide to each of you at no cost a landing page that is hard-coded to you. It'll look like this. It's more than a landing page because a landing page alone isn't really all that effective. Instead, what we want to do is capture the lead information, the lead capture information here. And then we want to drip to them further information to encourage them to engage. And so that's what's built into this platform, is it will provide each of you for free a landing page for this campaign, referring to free funding proposal. You'll use your link to share with prospects. The prospect needs to fill it out, not you. So you don't fill in their information. The prospect fills it out. And then once they click the blue button, then they're going to get a text. The text will go to the number, of course, that they put here where it says mobile number. And it'll ask them to confirm that they want to receive information, and they'll just type back the one-word answer, yes. Then it'll put them into the sequence. So if you want to see how this works, not just the view, but actually the drip campaign, great. Go to fundingproposal.online. You'll get this page. You can put your information in. But again, the key point is, yes, we'll provide you a free landing page, but no, you should not be putting in the client's information, because once the blue button here is clicked, the system's going to send them an opt-in text, and they're going to get an opt-in text, right? So if they're not expecting it, they're not going to opt in, right? They're going to think, what's this about? So it's not your role to fill in this information. It's your role to create awareness. But let's go ahead and get back to the script here, the lesson for today. This is not as profitable as the startup program. However, you could start a client here, and then once they have funding and trust, then they could enroll in the startup program with you. So keep that in mind. We project that you'll make around $5,000 per deal. How is that calculated? You earn 5 points off the client's capital raise. The clients are guaranteed a minimum of $100,000. Therefore, you're guaranteed $5,000 for referring each person in. So it's not as much money as you're used to making, but it eliminates you from needing to get the client under contract. You don't have to collect any money. It's simpler. So then the client gets funding, and then you get paid, of course, but then you could come back and offer them the startup program as a second step if you wanted. So the campaign is live now. It's up and operational. You can test it again by going to fundingproposal.online. As I mentioned, we have the drip campaign behind it is what makes it really valuable. All right, so what are some of the program highlights? As we've covered in terms of what's in it for you, you will make a minimum of 5,000. Now it's 5 points. So if let's say the client raises 200,000, then you're making $10,000, right? It's 5% of the client's capital raise. But if the client's guaranteed a minimum of 100, that's where 5% of 100,000 is 5,000. That's how that's calculated. What's key for many of you, if you're struggling to build trust with your clients, they don't want to pay you upfront for any programs or services, then this is a great fallback position because they have no money upfront out of pocket, no upfront cost. And as we mentioned a couple times, they have a contractual guaranteed capital raise. It's legal, it's ethical. We work through the attorneys. So the offer, it's real, it's legal, it's guaranteed. And it's not your burden, right? It's our burden to deliver that, not even yours. Our goal is to get the clients their first tranche, their first round of funding very quickly after they enroll. The reason for that is a couple-fold. So when we're going through the free funding proposal, we want them to have some quick results. And so once they have enrolled, we will be sending them an app. It's a one-page application. They'll fill that out. We'll be able to run that and get them offers. They can pick from the offers they receive. Typical client will receive 6 to 8 cash offers, some more, some less. We've had great success stories. I could go back and share with you on this. But the bottom line is you don't need to filter people out. So you don't need to say, well, your credit's not good enough, you shouldn't enroll. That's not a filter. Or you've got a new business, you haven't been around long enough. No. So there are no prerequisites that you need to filter out. All right, Timothy's asking a question, and that he's kind of jumping ahead, but that's right. So Timothy, once someone comes to your landing page and fills this out, you have no other responsibilities other than getting paid. So you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to follow up with them. You don't have to contract with them. You don't have to collect any money from them. This is the outsourced, simpler approach for those of you that are struggling to generate trust with your clients. As I mentioned, they're going to get cash funding offers. Could be from a variety of different sources. We have about 40 different lenders that are participating in the campaign. So they could get lines of credit or term loans. It'll vary what they get, but it's going to be based upon their baseline credibility between themselves and their business. Then we work with them to improve their credibility so they have the guaranteed capital raise. Because it's too good to be true to just say to anyone off the street, hey, do you want 100,000? Sign up and I'll get you 100,000. Well, you and I know that's not realistic, right? They need to qualify for at least 100,000. Well, we're going to work with them to help them qualify. But what we're going to do first is get them their first tranche based on what they qualify now. Put money in their pocket, put money in your pocket. Then we work with them to make sure that they're qualified for at least 100,000. So no, Susie's asking, does this conflict or compete with the startup program? It doesn't, right? So the deliverables of the startup program are different, right? With the startup program, we're providing them an address and we're providing them an entity. We're providing them trade lines. We're providing them $10,000 of receivables. So there's a bunch of deliverables in the startup program that are not part of this. So this is not the same program. This is a different program. Again, so the clients can accept the funding offers that they want. Karen's asking grants. Yeah, so we can help clients pursue grants, equity, or debt-based capital. Yes. What's key here is this is really a passive program for you. It makes your life simpler, right? Because as long as you've generated the lead, you fed them into your landing page, you have nothing else to you need to worry about. Katori's asking a good question. It gets to my point I was going to get ready to discuss. So over the weekend, we hired a new young lady, and she is going to be the program manager over this. Now, we just made the offer to her over the weekend. She's accepted, but she's not started yet. So soon you'll be introduced to her, and she will be the point of contact for this program. So she'll be able to give you updates. She'll be the one interfacing with your the prospects that you submitted, interfacing with your clients. So we have someone that's coming aboard that's going to be focused specifically. She's the program manager. She's a nurse by background. She's a registered nurse, so very qualified, very competent, very professional. So Katori was asking about follow-up. Yeah. So the program manager, will be interfacing with each of you on a regular basis, making sure that you're knowing what you need to do, make sure you know about client status, and making sure that you get paid. So we frankly don't have enough bandwidth with current staff to launch this to the full extent. So we're doing a soft launch now. She'll be fully on board here in the near future, and then we'll do a hard launch. But the point, thank you for that question, Katori. So passive income for you're giving out the landing page, and we take care of everything else. So again, I know a lot of you are successful. An extra $5,000 doesn't seem like much, but let's try to hit the same numbers that most of you are doing already or shooting for already, a deal a day. So if we could do a deal a day, so that would be 5,000 per day times 30 days in the month. I mean, it's a decent cash flow. That would put you at about 150,000 a month. But it's taken all of the work off of your shoulders, other than generating the lead and having the lead fill out your page. So let's stop here for a second. Is this fair? Now, we're not taking anything away. The whole branch model we have is staying the same. Startup program's the same. But my question to you all is this fair? So Arturo, do you think it's fair if we could get you an extra 150,000 a month by doing that? Is that too little to be worth your time? Katori, what are your thoughts? Chris, thanks for your involvement. So just looking for candid feedback, because maybe it's not enough money for you, and maybe it won't be successful. Maybe we need to up the ante a little bit more. But I'm just looking for feedback. Eric, what do you think? Ernest, if we could get an extra 150,000 a month in your pocket using this, would that be fair? Ernest. David says it's good. Herman, I know you've been struggling a little bit. Would an extra 150,000 a month be enough to be worth your time, Herman, if you were doing this model where it really took all the heavy lifting off of your shoulder? Larry, how about yourself? You're one of our biggest hitters on the legacy program, the startup program. Larry, is this fair, or is this just not enough to meet your income needs? So again, we're just trying to find a happy medium. If we need to increase it, we can increase it, but we're just trying to find that happy medium, because this, of course, is coming out of the performance fee that the client's paying. But if 150,000 is not enough to get your attention, then obviously we need to do something different. All right, so let's get back down here. So landing page will be free. So let's talk about the practical aspects. So as a branch office, you're currently set up to be paid off of two campaigns: the startup program and the credit and funding program. If that doesn't make sense, then you'll need to go back and look, of course, at your license agreement that you signed. So this is a new campaign. So we're going to need to add a one-page addendum to your license agreement. And it's not going to cost anything. There's no strings attached, but it just needs to clarify, okay, here's the new program, and here's how you're paid. And it's going to just read essentially what we said. You're going to be paid 5 points of the client's capital raise, minimum of 5,000 from each client. So no strings attached, but we always want to have our agreement in writing. So you don't send in 100 people and then all of a sudden you were thinking you were making 10 points of the capital raise. So then when you're only making 150,000 a month, you're pissed off because you thought you were gonna make 300,000 or whatever. So there's no cap and there's no production requirement. So it's not like you have to do a certain amount. There's no strings attached. We just do want to have a written addendum to our current branch agreement that clarifies our deal. So the attorney's working on that. And then, of course, the program manager, we started her onboarding over the weekend, but she is working full time as a nurse, so she's got to turn in her 2 weeks notice. All right, so who has questions, comments, concerns off of this? And again, you could go through the steps yourself and see how it works. Jeanette's asking about the follow-up sequence, which is the drip campaign, as we called it. I'm pulling from memory. I think there are 6 follow-up, but let me pull it up and I'll give you a better answer, because she's asking how many touches does each client get? And that's a fair question. So let me give you the exact answer. Okay, so drip campaign, oops, if I can spell it, specifics. So the first will be 1 minute after. And so in other words, once the person's filled this out, they hit the blue, or they check the box, hit the blue button, it's going to immediately send them an opt-in. They type yes. So now the clock is started. So they'll get their first drip 1 minute after that. They'll get their second 1 day after. They'll get their third drip. I'm looking off the logic flow here. 2 days after. Their fourth touch will be 3 days after. And the final will be 4 days after. So it's set up to give them 5 touches. Plus, the program manager will also reach out to them via telephone as time allows. So essentially, you're outsourcing the whole process. You're bringing in the lead to your landing page, and then we're hiring and paying the team to do all the work, to close the deal, to get the client to pay, and so forth. All right. Sparkle asked a good question. Yeah. So with the free funding proposal, it's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same as the startup program. So the startup program has elements that are not included here. We're not promising to give them an address for free. We're not promising to set up a new business entity. We're not promising to add 4 trade lines. So we're not promising to give them the 10,000 receivables. It's a different proposition. That's important because this is not designed to cannibalize off your leads. Folks can come into this, get their money, and then you get paid. But then you can turn around and then help them enroll in the startup program, because now they should have trust. They should have, well, they have money in their pocket. I mean, obviously it works because they have money in their pocket. So, and that's what Chris's question is. So it's perfectly fine for you to follow up with people after they've received funding and help them enroll in the startup program. And the program manager will be notifying you of when people get funded, because A, that generates payout for you, so we owe you money, but also that generates an alert, hey, you might want to follow up with them and then try to upsell them at that point if they would benefit. All right, so I think most of the feedback we received was that the comp program sounds fair, that if we could get you an extra 150,000 a month into your branch without you having to do any selling, without you having to do any closing, really without you having to do any pitching. All you're going to do is introduce. Hey, would you be interested in get a free funding proposal for your business? We can see what you qualify for. There's no minimum credit scores, no upfront costs, no hard inquiries to get the offers. You'll pick the offers you want, decline those you don't, and you give them your link. Right? Pretty straightforward. I mean, I think some of you are so smart that you want to talk a lot. And I think the less you talk, the more deals that you'll sign up, the more money you'll make. Right? You need they need to know to come to your landing page. They need to know this paragraph. But beyond that, I don't know that you need to spend a lot of time with them. So maybe you see that as good. I think that's good. So you should spend less than 2 minutes per prospect. But what do we know? What do we know is best practice? Best practice is to send them your link. And so again, our link is fundingproposal.online. And then that forwards over to this, right? It's forwarded. That URL is forwarded to this. So you'll have your own link. You want to give them the link. And what I recommend, if you can, don't have to, but be on the phone with them when you give them the link. Text it to them or email it to them. Texting is best, but be on the phone with them. So then they receive your link, and then just stay on the phone with them for 1 minute. Just say, okay, Joe, great. You got the link. I'm going to stay on the phone here with you and make sure that you get plugged in properly. And all Joe needs to do is put in first name, last name, mobile number, and email, check the box, and click here. And we can test it if you want. So let's put in test 555 555 555. Now you won't want to put a dummy number in or you won't see the process. And then test at test.com. If we don't click the box, what happens? Nothing happens. You got to agree to the terms. So you click the box, click this, new page comes up, says, thank you for your interest in getting funding through our no upfront cost program. You'll be receiving a text soon to apply. So then they will receive that opt-in text. So that's why it's so important. And let's go back a screen. That's why it's so important that you don't fill this out. They need to fill this out because whatever number is put in here is the number that's going to receive the opt-in. And if they didn't fill this out, then they're not expecting it. They probably won't opt in. If they don't opt in, guess what? We don't have a chance to ever sell them, to ever close them for you to make money. All right. Requests for the landing pages. So we sent out an email yesterday, and here it is again. If you want your free landing page, schedule our one-on-one. Because remember, our service model with our branches is in addition to our daily group calls. We have most weekdays, not every weekday, but most weekdays like today, we have one-on-ones. We need to have our one-on-one, and then we can get that set up for you. So you should be scheduling those already, right? And then also back to Katori's question. Yeah. So once the new program manager is working, we'll introduce her to you and she'll be your primary point of contact for this campaign. So she's not started yet. She's going to start on a part-time basis. She has to serve out her notice because I told you she's a full-time registered nurse. And then once her notice period's over, then she'll be full-time. But in the meantime, I'll be your point person, but that'll be transferring over in the near future. All right, so Chris says, does it automatically let the company know whose link they're using? No, all of the landing pages look exactly the same, but everyone's landing page is a unique link and tracks back to whomever it's been assigned to. So you would have your own. So we know in our system, program manager will know it's yours. So there's zero risk of the client getting lost because they're filling out your page. All right. And let's see. So it's fine to continue doing what you're doing with the startup program. The startup program's excellent. It's providing a scope of services that are needed to have a fundable business. And if you can lead with that and close people and get paid up front, that is great. That is great. But some of you are having trouble developing trust with your prospects. And when they don't trust you, they're not willing to pay you. So if you need help in generating trust with your clients, your prospective clients, you may want to consider using this as an interim step. You're still paid. You're not giving up the client. It's your client. You're making money, but you're just not making as much, right? Because normally you're making 25,000, 26,000 gross income on the startup program. Well, this is kind of piss poor compared to that, only 5,000, but it's very simple, right? So we're hiring the staff to do the work for you, for those of you that want simple. All right, any questions? Best way to learn it's to go through it, of course. Go to fundingproposal.online. It'll take you to our page. Your page will look the same. The drip campaign, by the way, will be the same. So it's not like, well, I wonder what my drip campaign would look like. It'll look just the same. The difference is the page will be hard-coded to you. So anyone that comes through your page, you get credit. Simple enough. Kendrick asked if they sign up for both programs, how does the pay go? Well, it's two separate programs, right? So if you go to the restaurant and you order a salad and you order dessert, you get the salad and you get the dessert and you pay for each. So if the client comes through this, then you know what to expect. And if they come through your startup program, frankly, you control the terms and conditions there. So just don't mix the two together. That's a mistake. Don't mix the two together. All right, Karanda's asking, just to clarify, she's asked, we still get paid off the first tranche. Yeah. So, and I'm sorry if that wasn't clear, and that'll be clear in that addendum, Karanda. So you're paid 5 points. So let's make it even clearer. Let's add branch office is paid 5% of all tranches of capital raised. Maybe that makes it clearer. So first tranche, yes, you're paid off of. Second tranche, yes. Third tranche, yes. For so forth. So you're paid for every tranche. We know if they're guaranteed 100,000 and you're making 5%, then of course you're going to make a minimum of 5,000. Could be a lot more, but again, this isn't get rich quick, and I know a lot of you make a lot of money, but I think we can safely do a deal a day because we're simplifying it so much. So if $5,000 a day is enough to get your attention, I say let's give it a try. Let's try it for 30 or 60 days. All right, so with that being said, I do encourage everyone to, of course, schedule our one-on-ones. That's crucial. We should be scheduling our one-on-ones so that way we're supporting you individually, and that's going to be the key to getting your landing page set up. In most cases, we can actually set your landing page up during that one-on-one. We use Calendly to schedule it. If you don't know how to use our Calendly or access the Calendly, let us know, but I think most of you know that. So we're excited to roll this out to be able to help more clients and to help you and your branches. We're committed that every one of your branches needs to generate at least $100,000 a month, including in the month of May. Karen has a really interesting question, and it's a high-level question, but we'll go with it. I think it's going to confuse some people, but she's thinking at a higher level. So let's think, what happens economically to your branch when you submit a client? Now, of course, it's a prospect when they come in, but once they fill this out and they sign up, then they're a client. So what do we know? You are owed 5,000 minimum. I'm using capital letters too often, but that's okay. So you're owed 5,000 minimum, right? Because what's the deal? You're getting 5% of the capital raise. Clients promised to work with us to raise at least 100,000. So you're going to get 5,000, not instantly, but for that client, you're getting at least 5,000. Well, what is that called in accounting terms? That is called accounts receivable. So you would book that into your QuickBooks, and now you're owed from us we owe you, not the client, we owe you $5,000 minimum each time you refer a client in. So you're actually able to put that on your balance sheet, and that boosts your balance sheet. That gives you collateral for loans if you wanted to borrow money through your branch. So thank you for bringing that up, Karen. That's correct. So you refer in a client, as long as they sign up, which most will with this system, then you know you're going to get $5,000. You know you're going to get $5,000. And so you can literally go to your QuickBooks, record that as an accounts receivable from us. We owe it to you. Hold us accountable each time you do that. So that can really boost your financials and make your business more fundable. All right. Anyone that doesn't have the Calendly link, let me go ahead and give you that. So it's calendly.com, IIMSO. So that will get you to our Calendly link. Are there any other important questions that we need to cover today? All right. Well, with that being said, let's go out there and shake some trees. Of course, getting your landing page is crucial. You can use this program as a direct-to-market offering, or you could use it for your prospects that have not signed up with you yet. If you've had prospects that you've talked to about the startup program and they don't trust you enough to pay you the $2,500 or even the $500 down, then offer them this option. Now they don't have to trust you, I guess, at all, because they paid nothing up front. All right. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you back tomorrow morning. Let us know what we can do for you. Have a good day. Bye.